さあ、記念すべき第1回は富岡市の国際交流員ヴェロニック・ムーランさんです。ヴェロニックさんはフランス出身で、現在富岡市役所の富岡製糸場課で働いています。早速、ヴェロニックさんにいろいろ聞いてみましょう。と、その前にヴェロニックさんに自己紹介をしてもらいましょう。それではお願いします。
はい、お願いします。皆さんこんにちは。富岡製糸場の国際交流員のヴェロニックと申します。去年の7月に大学を卒業し、8月に、来日して、今は国際交流員として働いてるんですけれども、今回は初めて、英語でインタビューを受けさせていただきますので、ちょっと緊張してるんですけれども、頑張ります。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございました。So, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So, as you just mentioned, you are a coordinator for international relations for the Tomioka silk mill. Can you tell me a little bit about the work you've done in the last year?
Yeah. Okay, so as a coordinator for international relations, I'm like a bridge between Tomioka and the rest of the world, and especially France, as I'm a French coordinator for international relations. And so I've been doing, of course, translations from Japanese to English and French. And sometimes I have some interpretation job, but not so much. But my main task is maybe 情報発信.
I understand.
Yeah, I have to like promote the destination Tomioka in the world. I also created a YouTube channel because when I search on the internet, you did not have so much content, I mean in English or in French, about the silk mill, and so I wanted to create my own content.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and the narration is in French because the director of the construction of the mill is named Paul Brunat, and he was a French guy. So I decided to use French for the narration, but you have subtitles in English and in Japanese, obviously. Like, I'm the coordinator for international relations in Tomioka silk mill, so I'm always in the silk mill, and sometimes I guide people inside the silk mill. And so I saw that even people in Tomioka didn't know so much about the silk mill, and so I thought it could be quite interesting to learn the numbers in French while learning about the history.
That's such a good idea.
About the history of the Tomioka silk mill. For instance, the number 8, I related it to the silkworm.
Yeah.
Because the silkworm, when how do you say that? He do his silk thread.
His cocoon, the mayu thing?
Yeah, when he's doing his cocoon, he does like a 8 sign with his,
I didn't know that.
mouth.
That's cool.
He's like, woo, I'm doing my cocoon.
Wow.
So I added some things like that in the video.
That's super cool. Yeah, I think that I'm also a coordinator for international relations, and I think that one of the interesting things about our job is that we're obviously trying to share the good parts of where we are with the world, but because we're from outside, we also notice things that even the people who live here may not be aware of, and we get to share those Guma things with Guma people too.
Right.
Yeah.
This is really a great thing.
So let's warm up to some more like general questions.
Okay.
So this is a very serious, difficult question. I'm sorry to go in so hard so fast. But what is your favorite Japanese food?
Oh my god, it's so difficult.
I'm sorry.
No, actually, it's quite complicated
Oh, really?
to answer. No, because I love Japanese food. I love everything like sushi, katsudon, and nandemodon. But maybe I would say takoyaki.
Really?
Because takoyaki parties are so much fun.
Oh, is it? So, word on the street is that you really like J-pop.
Yeah, sure. Like J-pop was like a getaway for me to Japanese and Japan culture as a whole, not just pop culture. Actually, I discovered J-pop at the age of 13 when a friend of mine, she was really fond of anime, mangas, and so on, and she decided she wanted to show me an anime which is called Haru Suzumiya.
Oh, yeah.
I guess at that time it was quite popular. And the ending theme, I don't know if you remember, the ending theme was a song from Ayae Hirano, Hare Hare Yukai っていう曲なんですけど、when I heard that song, I don't know why, I just get in the sing and I saw, whoa, Japanese songs are so genki, so kira kira. But I guess I really fell in love in J-pop.
Yeah.
Fell in love with J-pop because it's quite different from the songs we have in France. Like France is well known for the chanson, and so it's quite how can I explain that? It's not kira kira songs. It's just like much more. You have texts and you have a profound signification of things. But here in Japan, it's totally different, and you have groups with a lot of members sometimes, and they are just having fun on stage. Definitely, the Japanese actors and singers really influenced me a lot. I mean, in their songs or in the dramas, they often say that even if at some point you have to face some hardship, a day will definitely come when you will overcome it and be proud of what you became and what you fought for. And this mindset definitely bring me where I am today. And it's really this mindset became part of me, and I'm really happy I could become this kind of gambareru-hito. So that's what J-pop is really important to me, because it was really my gateway to 今の人生、私の今の人生。
That's interesting. You have a very はっきりしたきっかけ。
Very はっきりしたきっかけ。
So, do you have a favorite place in Gunma that you would like to recommend to everyone?
Last year, I went during the autumn season to Fukiware no Taki. People say you should go there in spring because those are falls, and when the snow melts, the water flow is really impressive.
Yeah.
So they say you should go in spring, but personally, I prefer autumn because you have the green. It's an explosion of color. You have the green and blue of the water, and you have the leaves, which are sometimes green and sometimes orange, and the massive rocks. It's just so impressive.
Wow.
I really like that place. I would like to go back there.
That you've sold it. I want to go now. I don't think I've been. Can you tell me a little about your hometown?
My hometown, yeah. So I was born in Metz, which is a city in the northeast of France. It's really close to Germany. And so you have a quite special history between France and Germany. Sometimes Metz was a French city and sometimes it was a German city. Now we are French, obviously. But back then during World War II, we were German. And 3 times it changed.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, 3 times from the 19th century. And so we have still a heritage of that German period. And in Metz you have the train station, which is really massive and which was built by a German guy. And it was meant at first to transport the soldiers from Germany to France for the war. And so that's why it's so big. It's really a nice building. And you know directly that it has been constructed by the German because it's made out of pink sandstone. So it stands out in the landscape. Other buildings in France, in Metz, are made with, we say la pierre de Jaumont, so it's a Jaumont stone, I guess. And so it's a much more yellow-brown stone, whereas the pink sandstone, as the name indicates, is a black pink.
So, you have become something of a wadai among my division in
Really?
Kensho for the natural Japanese that you use in your Kanban Musume video that you did for the Jomo Shingon. So people are like, oh, Muran-san, Nihongo jouzu desu ne. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm sorry. So you talked about this a little bit before, but you say that your gateway into the language was really through music.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about, how you went from simply being interested in the music to being like, this is going to be my life, like ima no jinsei?
Oh. When it comes to sing in a language which is not your bogo, then you have to learn a bit the language. Because I could not pronounce Japanese at first, obviously.
Yeah.
And so from that, just naturally, I began to search for the words on the internet to check every word and to be able to understand what I was saying in that song. And I don't know, it really became a passion. And when I graduated from high school, I decided to go to university and to major in Japanese. And I don't know, when I did an exchange to a university exchange at Nagasaki, it was like I understood that I wanted to do much more things in Japan because I was there just for 1 semester, so it was just around 4 months. And I don't know, I just understood, I realized that I wanted to be in Japan.
Oh, wow.
No matter what. And so I did say that to my parents. At first they were like, what? Why do you want to go so far? And I was like, but I don't know, I just love Japan and that's it.
I think we all have that conversation with our parents at some point.
Yeah. And because my sister also wanted to do exactly the same thing,
Yeah,
so they were like, what? You both will go to Japan?
Yeah. So you mentioned that you have a sister.
Yes.
So can you tell me more about your sister?
It's a really nice picture.
I love that picture.
Yes, so my sister is also a CIR, so a coordinator for international relations in Shimane Prefecture, so in the city of Matsue. Since I was born, we were always together.
Yeah.
I mean, really 24 hours a day. We were always together. We did the same studies at university.
Yeah.
We always had the same options.
Oh my gosh.
Same hobbies, same friends. Everything was the same. We were really like 2 as 1, but literally.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we really get along well.
That's
and,
good.
I mean, she has a really bright personality. She is always smiling and...
I feel like that could be said about both of you.
Maybe. But I have like the impression she's much more talkative than me. Yeah.
Are you like the
brighter
one? So you are identical twins, right?
What?
Identical? Like
Yeah.
Ichidansei Soseiji.
Hi.
And you both do Japanese.
Yeah.
Did you both do the English, Japanese, and tourism, international tourism?
Yeah, it was really
in the same
studies in the same university.
And did you both
in the
do
same
that Nagasaki?
Yeah, we were when we went to Nagasaki.
Yeah.
We were in the. I said I was doing a homestay.
Yeah.
And we were in the same family.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Because I don't know, we just wanted to have the same experience.
That's so cool.
Yes.
So have you ever lived apart before now?
No.
How is that?
That was the most difficult thing I had to overcome coming here in Japan, because it was literally the first time I was alone. So it's like I just understood coming here, I just understood the meaning of solitude. It's like, yeah, I clearly remember the first months I would come back from work, I would open the door of my apartment, close it, and then I would cry.
No.
Yeah, it just like it was too quiet. I mean,
Yeah.
there was nobody to speak to, and it was really my first time being alone. So it was but a nice experience. 振り返ると、it's like I've become stronger, maybe, I guess, thanks to that experience. But at first, it was really complicated.
No, I bet. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I just wanted to see her, and I wanted to talk to someone coming back in my apartment. So
do you talk frequently?
Really frequently.
Every day?
I mean, お昼休みの時、
Oh, that's so cute.
毎日電話します。
Oh, that's nice. I mean, it's only been a year, but do you feel that there's a part of yourself that has been lost or maybe unused since you moved to Japan?
Yeah, lost, I don't know, but unused, maybe the legendary French attitude to criticize and
Oh, really?
And question everything.
Yeah, that could be hard.
You don't really use that in Japan, but even back in France, I was not questioning and criticizing so much. So I don't know, but like French people are known for being like criticizing, no?
Really?
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I know.
Like
I'm joking.
No, I mean we are always demonstrating and with the strikes and stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Even in the university, we have to always demonstrate everything and to question ourselves. Maybe that part of me just is quiet for now.
Yeah. Do you have a good story, one of the most interesting experiences you've had in Japan and if possible Gunma?
In Gunma, I don't really have an interesting story. But 3 years ago, when I was in Nagasaki, I was doing a homestay. And so the first night when I came, I went to the toilets. And in front of the door of the toilets, you have sleepers, right?
Yes.
Those like special sleepers dedicated
the
to the
toilet.
toilet.
The sacred.
But I didn't know about that. It was the first time. And so I just thought, oh, someone forgot his slippers in front of the door. And then the next day, I also went to the toilets and the slippers were still there. And the next day, the same thing. And the day after, the same thing. And at that point, I just asked my Japanese friend, and she said, but you're supposed to use the slippers and go inside of the toilet. And I was like, what? I am supposed to use that? It's quite a strange habit.
There is a lot of like.
Why do they need like special toilet?
If no one tells you, it's like, how do you know?
Yes, they don't tell you. But it's like the bass is also speaking.
Yeah, it does all sorts of like plays music and like does.
I was so shocked.
Yeah.
お湯が沸きましたとか。
That's funny. Can you see yourself settling down here?
For now, honestly, I don't know. Because I really enjoy living here in Tomioka. But I don't even know if I want to go back to France or if I want to be here in Japan. When my 5 years as a CIR will be over, I will have to make a decision, of course. Even if I go back to France, I want to work and be surrounded by Japanese, or at least be able to use the Japanese language.
I understand.
So it's something that is really important for me.
Yeah.
When I came back to France after I did my university exchange, I wanted to hear Japanese every day.
Yes.
So I listened to a lot of interviews or NHK or anything, but I just wanted to hear Japanese. So I just think like I'm in love with Japanese.
Yeah. This is actually an interesting point that you bring up, because I think the idea of people having multiple cultures, the people, you know, like, of course we're not Japanese citizens, but like for you and I feel the same way, that like Japan is always going to be part of my identity.
Yeah.
Like I've spent my entire adult life in Japan doing Japanese since I was like, what, 17 years old?
Oh, so much.
Well, yeah, since
Okay.
I mean 17 or 18.
Okay.
Which is longer than I want to admit at this point, but I feel like what do you think of the idea of like Japanese as being, or not being Japanese, but Japan as part of your identity? Would you feel like you what do you think?
Hard to maybe I can bring an anecdote. When I was in France, I had obviously French friends, but then they would speak about French songs or Western films, and I was like, but I cannot participate or take part to the discussion because I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I just know J-pop and Japanese drama. So I had sometimes the impression when I was in France, even if I'm French, to not fit in. It's much easier maybe for me to make friends in Japan than in France.
I totally understand that. Because like sometimes people come wanting to speak English and talk about like American dramas and like American music and American movies, and I'm like, I don't know. I know Japanese stuff. That's why I'm in Japan.
Yeah. I totally understand.
I think that's a very interesting phenomenon. How like over time these different cultures get woven into who you are as a person.
Yeah. I could not say I'm French. Like I'm both French and Japanese.
That's cool.
Regardless of the nationality.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then finally, is there anything that you hope to accomplish as a CIR in Japan?
Yeah, sure. As a CIR, I maybe just want to be this bridge between France and Japan. I want people in France to know more about Tomioka Silk Mill because before coming here, before applying for the JET program, I didn't know about it at all. And but the director of the construction is a French guy, so we should know about it. It should be on textbooks, I think. So it's one point, and also I would like to interact more and more with Japanese people to talk about France, about culture shock, and many things. Yeah, I would like to いつまでも架け橋でいたいとは思ってます。
Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。さて、今日は富岡市富岡製糸場課の国際交流員ベロニックさんを迎えしてお送りしました。皆さんもぜひ富岡製糸場に遊びに来てください。See you!